Okay, well, welcome everyone. Believe it or not, this is the fifth family gathering that we've had. I didn't think it was that many, but I went back and counted them up. Our very first one was September 20th.
That's Danya.
So so this is we've had them on September 20th, November 22nd, December 20th, February 21st, and then tonight on April 25th. So now Carl has, that's why I'm surprised he's not on here tonight, but Carl Robert has told me that he would like to feature his family on the next gathering, okay, which would be the Fosters. So do you think, what date do you think we should stay like every 2 months, or do you think we ought to go a little further, or what do you think? 2 months would be about June 27th.
My birthday.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'll make a cake.
Now, does that mean you won't be on this, or
Oh, I'll be on. When you get old, your birthdays are it's not that big a deal.
Yeah. Tell me about it.
Yeah.
So what do you think? Do you think, is that every 2 months, or do you think we ought to go 3 or 4 months, or what do you think?
I'm okay with staying with every 2.
Okay.
We may be the only ones on here.
Yeah.
Well, I
Okay.
enjoy talking to you guys.
Okay, let's go with June 27th, 8 p.m. And I think that's pretty much what Carl was thinking, but I'll certainly make him aware of this. Okay.
And then if he doesn't show up, we'll just visit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't
He's
know.
in charge of the program. Maybe that'll.
I don't know what else to do to try and get more people involved in this, but just send out the emails and hope people, want to get involved. But anyway, so I'm glad all of you decided to join in tonight. Does everybody know everyone here? I think everyone does.
Jennifer, maybe. Jason, that's Jennifer, who is Janet's daughter. Jennifer in the corner.
Up there.
And that's Janet's daughter. Her baby, right? You don't
That's
have
right.
the other ones, do you?
Baby.
Jennifer's the baby.
She's the baby. Who? Jennifer.
I'm sure you like to hear that, Jennifer.
Reminded, I've heard
Well,
of that.
there's my baby. He's coming.
Oh, yeah.
In a few weeks, aren't you, baby?
Yeah. Yes. I don't like to think about it, but yes, that is true.
All right. There I got Carl. Hello, Carl. Where are you? Carl?
Well, we lost Carl.
All right. Okay. Well, we're going to get started here.
Hey, Dale, Jim said he was trying to log in. Do you see anything from Jim?
No.
Where's Carl?
Okay.
Hey, Carl.
That's his ringtone?
Fine. Where are you? Well, you can't do that.
He's back.
Oh, for goodness sakes. I guess I am. Yes. You can't get in?
Yeah, Jennifer's got a nice picture there.
And Jim can't get on either?
And Jim can't get on either?
I don't know.
He was trying.
I don't know. What he's
There's
doing.
Jimmy.
Yeah, there's Jimmy. Jimmy's coming on. Where is he? I don't know, unless I've
There he
done
is.
something again
there
to
he
mess
came
this up. No, I know when I first brought this on, it had me and then it had owner, and
Probably.
oh, which is you?
Oh,
Oh, well, I removed that. I removed owner. Yeah. Sorry about that. Can't get on then? I don't know how to do that. You would think so, but no, I'm not. No, I'm not. Ken, I'm sorry. Okay. All right. Well,
Well,
we're
they're in
getting started.
Myrtle
Well, we're
Beach.
getting ready to go here, so we'll get you the recording. Okay. Bye. He's
Okay.
at Myrtle Beach.
Oh,
All right. All right.
Do your thing, Dale.
All right. We're going to get going here. Sorry about that.
Now,
yep.
Okay. I'm going to do the slideshow here. And so everybody gets a good view of this. Everybody see it okay?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All right. All right. Well, guys, this is what we're going to do tonight is we're going to tell you some stories, okay? And we're going to focus a lot on our family. Of course, this is where it all started in 1948, or at least where we are starting our family gatherings here. And this is then, of course, these are the siblings involved in this family, and the Parrish family. And the one we're going to talk about tonight is this gentleman here, Truman Parrish, and this we're going to be talking about his family. Okay. Now, like I said, we're going to try and focus more on the living part of the family as opposed to the older ones. So so that's kind of how we're going to do, and we're going to try and inject a number of stories, very, very short stories. So hopefully it'll make it a little more meaningful to everyone. So we're going to get started here. Okay, Truman Parrish, as a young man and growing up in Kentucky, he hated farming, so he told me, and he decided he was never going to be a farmer. Every time he tried to do any farming, he said it turned out terrible, and everyone knew that the poor-looking tobacco plants were Truman's. So he hated farming, so he wanted to do something different. And he had two older sisters that led the way, and that was this was Nera. She married Tom Jenkins, and this was Stella. Stella married Lloyd Korn. Now I think, of course, now also let me go back here to no. Let me go back to this. Not pictured in this group of brothers and sisters is an older sister, and her name was Wilma. And she had a son named Conard. And that son and dad were pretty close in age, because dad was the baby of the family. And so he and Conard were pretty close in age. So dad really looked up to Conard and really thought the world of him. Of course, Conard later died, but Tom and Nira moved to Alton, Illinois. And I'm going to talk a little bit about Alton here pretty soon. And so did Stella and Lloyd. They moved there for the manufacturing jobs. And Conard went with them. Well, Dad he always told me about, as a young man, about going to Alton in the summer for summer vacation. And he was so impressed with Alton. And he was so impressed with everyone. And he always said he thought the world of Conard, and he was so impressed with Conard and Alton because Conard always had money for cigarettes. So, you know, it was, there were jobs in Alton at that time. So that's what Dad wanted to do. He didn't want to farm. He wanted to move to Alton someday and of course he had two older sisters that were already there. And I guess it was really Tom and Nira that led the way to people going to Alton. So that's what
Stella did not get married until she moved up here. Lloyd was from here, this area.
Okay.
He was not from down there where they were from.
All right.
Because she dated Raymond's brother for a while, and then he left. They broke up, and he married Elaine Meyerhofer's mother. So they married. She married here. Lloyd wasn't from down there.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. Well, anyway, so Dad wanted to go to Alton. Well,
Hey, Dad,
yeah.
how did Wilma die? Didn't she die before or after Conard died?
She died before, and I think, Jason, it was measles or some disease of that nature.
Okay.
Of course, back then it was much more
Dangerous
than it would be today. But
they didn't have the antibiotics that we have.
I think it was basically something like measles, I think is what she died from. Now, Conard died of a brain tumor, if I remember right.
Oh.
And how that came about, I'm really not certain. Anyway, so Dad met this young lady from Pea Ridge, and they got married on December 24th, 1940. Now, obviously, that is Christmas Eve. And for years and years, we as a family would forget their anniversary because it was Christmas Eve, and we were, all wrapped up in Christmas, and we would forget their anniversary. So a few years ago, I wrote a story about this, and it's called Kentucky Ridges. And I'll send everybody the document. I'm not going to read it tonight, but it's basically about the boy from Green Ridge that married the girl from Pea Ridge. And that's how they back then, that's how they could tell or designated where they were from, was what ridge they lived on. So the boy from Green Ridge married the girl from Pea Ridge. And these are just some pictures of my mom in her early years. I believe this picture right here was on their wedding day. And I thought Mom was pretty lady. I really
was. Now they get married. Did they get married in Kentucky?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they got married in Kentucky, and I think very soon thereafter moved to Alton
Mhm.
in 1940. Well, it probably would have been in 1941 actually
Mhm.
when they moved to Alton.
Did Dale, did your mom, I mean, I would think that she would be a little nervous about moving so far away. So, I don't know. Do you know, I mean, do you know how she felt about?
You know, I don't. I do you recall her saying anything about that?
No, I think she wanted to go.
She wanted to
She
go.
Oh.
wanted the adventure too.
Yeah.
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 Cool.
So
Well, I just want, grandma had some college behind her too. So she had gone to school. It's not like she had gone straight from home to marriage.
Gotcha.
She had some
Gotcha.
experience. She had lived with, I think, she have roommates, mom, that she
It
lived with?
wasn't
So she had a
college.
little
I
life
don't know what it
experience.
was that she went to, some sort of schooling.
Yeah.
And she did live with some girlfriends.
I think she lived in Old Hickory, wasn't it,
Yeah.
or in Tennessee for a while?
Mhm.
Might have been. Might have been.
So she had been around.
Yeah, she had been around.
And just so you know, mom was older than dad. Mom was what, 5 years older than dad?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I didn't know if you knew
I
that or
didn't
not.
know that. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So anyway, they got married December 24th, 1940, and they moved to Alton. So this is these are just some pictures of Alton here. And for those of you that, let me see if I can do this. No.
Robert Wadsworth.
Everybody on this call knows where Alton is.
I think everybody probably does, but in case there will be some that watching the video or the recording that don't know where Alton is, this is a map. This is St. Louis, obviously, and Alton is just on the Illinois side of the Mississippi River, just 20 miles or so northeast of St. Louis, and that's Alton right there. Okay, now Alton was, of course, also known as the home of the tallest man in the world, Robert Wadlow, 8 feet 11 and some fraction. And to my knowledge, that is still a record today. But he was born and raised in Alton, died actually in 1940, as a matter of fact. But these are some pictures of mom and dad in their early days in Alton. This is a picture of the house that is not the only house we lived in Alton, but the one we lived in for the longest period of time. That's on those of you that visited, that's on Aberdeen. Now, I put this picture in here. This is a picture of one of Dad's first jobs in Alton was with a manufacturing plant called, well, it's called Olden Matheson, I think today. It was called Western Cartridge back then. And it was an ammunition producing factory. And of course, World War II was on, so they were producing a lot of ammunition. But this is Dad right here in this picture. This is they must have had a dinner or something in his department, but that's him right there. The reason I put this picture on is between my senior year and first year in college, I worked at this company during the summer, and I worked in this very department, and there were some of these men that were still there.
Hokey
Really?
smokes.
And they told me some stories about him. Okay. Oh, you're True's son, huh? Oh, let me tell you about this. Let me tell you about that. So I heard some stories about him there. But anyway, so he worked there until about 1950, and this is not a good picture, but Illinois Power Company built a new power plant there in Alton, And Dad got a job there in 1950 and worked there until his retirement in, I think it was 82. when he-
And that is all destroyed today.
Is it really?
It is all, I drove by the other day and they had knocked down, I'm not sure if there was, I don't think there was anything standing. It was the bottom part. They were still digging out. They're cleaning that out.
Well, I'll
Yeah.
be darned. I'll be darned.
Yeah, they closed it. I think it's been over 5 years ago. It probably hasn't. I was really surprised the other day when I drove by how much they've demolished. Yeah, it's all gone.
Okay.
I mean, they're just cleaning up now.
Well, wow. Well,
And they had a lot of people were employed with them.
yeah, yeah. I guess it was, I mean, Dad had to work shift work all of his life, but I guess it was a pretty good job. It certainly could, there
Yeah.
were certainly a lot worse jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I might also mention that, of course, World War II had just had started. Dad did get drafted, and but he failed the physical.
Really?
Yeah, and we think it was due to a disease that he had, a kidney disease of some type that he had.
He still had it.
Very, very serious, as a matter of fact. But he failed the physical. I remember him telling me that he had to get on a train, and I think he had to go to Chicago, if I'm not mistaken. But he failed the physical, so he didn't have to go into the service. And I wanted to also mention here that later on, Mom used to bake pies for a local restaurant there in Alton. Do you remember what was the name of the restaurant? What was the name of the restaurant in Upper Alton behind Fashion Lane? Boyd's.
Boyd's.
Boyd's. I was going to
Boyd's.
say, was it Boyd's?
Yeah.
Oh,
Mom used to bake pies for Boyd's. I can remember waking up in the morning. Mom and Dad had set up a kitchen in the basement of our home here on Aberdeen, and she had an old-fashioned oven down there where she baked these pies. And I can remember waking up in the morning and smelling freshly baked pies.
golly.
Oh, it was very, very good.
Wow.
But so Dad would many mornings, Dad would take David and I to school, and then go deliver pies to Boyd's.
Wow.
So she did that for a number of years.
Didn't know that.
Well, then along came two little boys that my mom thought the world of her boys. She just thought the world of them, and always, of course, wanted the best for them, and wanted us to do things. One little story. The first house that I think Mom and Dad rented an apartment when they first moved to Alton, but then they rented a house. Now I'm going blank on the street. Oh, it's is that Main Street, one block over from
Washington.
what street is Calvary on?
That's on Washington. And then if you go east, it's Main Street.
Main Street. Okay. At Main and College, there used to be a house there very, very close to the corner of Main and College.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this was the house, and they rented that house. And one of the stories that they always told me was that this is me, of course, this little boy, that I was a runner. And I would, if Mom, if they weren't watching me closely, I would run out the front door of that house and run down to the sidewalk and head right up to that intersection.
Really?
Yep. And I don't know why I would do that, but I did that. And
Yes, and his children, both his son and his daughter followed suit in this with the running. So we had two runners. I'll tell you that a little bit later, but no, should I tell them that? Is that now or later?
you can tell them when we get to
Okay, go
when we
ahead.
get to that. We got a story about that on both of our kids, and we'll tell you that a little later on. But so, yep, mom thought the world of her boys. Okay, and the boys growing up, scouting was a big thing in our life. Both Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts. As a matter of fact, Mom was a den mother in Cub Scouts, and she was a den mother when David was going through Cub Scouts, and of course, then I was in Boy Scouts. These are our high school senior pictures here. We both were involved in sports. David, if you can see the little arrow that's David right there. He was a runner, and he ran on the Alton High School track team. He was a long distance runner and did very good, as a matter of fact. Okay. Then I played basketball for Alton High School. That's me there, number 31. And I always wanted to be a basketball player. That was my dream, to be a basketball player and play for Alton High School. I was so impressed at the high school basketball games. They would introduce the players, the starting players, and I wanted to be one of those so bad. Never quite made it. But so we were both involved. We were both in sports, and sports played a big part in our life as we were growing up. Then here comes Olivia. In 1965, Olivia and I get married September 25th, 1965. And I married the homecoming queen of Alton High for 1965. That's Olivia there, and being driven around the football stadium during the homecoming celebration. So I married the homecoming queen. This is our wedding picture. And this young man right here is Ronnie Jenkins.
That's what I'm going to ask you who that was.
Yes.
There's Ronnie. There's another Jenkins in this picture. Do you know, Rita, do you recognize who that might be?
Jimmy.
That's Jimmy.
Oh, yes, Jimmy down there.
That's
Yes.
Jimmy right there. Yeah. And this is Olivia's sister, Mercedes, who is visiting us right now, as a matter of fact. She lives in California right now. But yeah, that's Jimmy, and that's Ronnie.
Who are the two guys on the right side?
Rita, you know this is Bill Harpo.
On the
Yes.
yeah, David.
Yeah. Then David was my best man.
Okay.
That's me. Then Olivia. That was Olivia's best friend, Marcia. And this was a relative of Olivia's.
My cousin, Gary.
Gary, her cousin. And then this was my best friend, Danny, from Alton High. So that was.
So is Bill Harpo's older than you though, right?
Yes, Bill was couple years older than me.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah. And of course, Bill Jenkins married us.
Mm-hmm.
I think he married everybody, didn't he?
I think he did. And this is some pictures of our family early on when
Those were good.
we just had Danya there, and of course here we had both Danya and Jason.
How tall is Bill Jenkins?
How tall was he?
Yeah.
Wasn't he about 6'5"?
Yeah, he's about 6'5".
Yeah, that was my guess.
He used to scare the just scare
I
the
know
pants out of me.
Danya used to be terrified of him. Because you know how, if you guys remember Bill, he liked to pick up little kids and pitch them up in the air.
Uh-huh.
And I know he did that with Danya, and it terrified her. And
And she never got over
she
it.
never got over it.
And he was loud and
He was
Oh.
loud.
yeah.
Well, yeah, and he used to take our boys and stand them on the palm of his hand
Yeah.
and just stick it out there, and then, well, and if the boys were in the floor, he would come in, and I mean, this big guy standing over them, they just lay there and look at him, but they got used to it, and had a lot of fun with him.
Yeah.
Had a lot of fun with him.
Remember one of the family reunions that we had at a lake, the one where Stella or Nira, I think it was Stella, one of them got a fish hook in their leg or something like that when they were fishing. I can just remember hiding under the table when he came in the room. I was underneath the picnic table.
I bet it was Boxboard Lake.
Yeah, Boxboard
Yeah.
Lake. Yeah.
Yeah, probably was.
Mhm.
Hmm.
This is Olivia and I. We had a lot of fun at these little photo booths. We
Mhm.
always tried to get a picture of us kind of cutting up there.
Dude, and you kept them.
Yeah.
Oh, we did.
There's going through the pictures preparing for this, we have either lost a lot of pictures or we've given them to the kids. There's pictures missing that I wish I had had. I don't know where they went. I don't know where
Yep. You should blame it on your kids.
Blame it on them.
I think it's them.
I think it is them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we think it's them. You
Now,
save all
kids,
this-
hey, kids, when they're gone and you start going through boxes,
Yeah.
well, here's the pictures, Dad, you couldn't find.
Right. Well, I made these boxes for both the kids of stuff that I had saved all their lives for them. I'm sure they trashed them as soon as I walked out the door. But in there, I tried to divide up our pictures, some for both of them, old pictures, new pictures, some of Dale, some of me, so that they would each have some memory. I gotta tell you, they mean nothing. I have other friends who've said the same thing. I saved my grandmother, my great grandmother's dishes. Nobody wants that stuff anymore,
Mm,
It just doesn't have the,
They want their own stuff.
they want their own stuff. They don't want your stuff.
Mhm.
All right, that's Dale and Olivia. Here's David and Jane. David and Jane, Jane Patterson was her maiden name. And they got married on July 8th, 1971. This was the wedding party, or this was David and me and his friend Steve.
You know that David would come over before he got married, and we lived across the street from Grandma and Grandpa, and he'd come over conveniently at either lunch or dinner time frequently. And he would, and David, if you got to know David, he loved to be the center of attention, and he was a great storyteller and joke teller. And he would just keep you cracked up, and he would talk about his girlfriends, and just, it would just crack you up. These stories he would tell about the girls he's dating until he met Jane. And when he met Jane, went silent on it. And we knew that was it. He's not talking about her. We're losing David. And we did.
Uh-huh.
So that's how I knew he was going to love her. And then, the famous story with David and I is that we kind of tore Calvary Baptist in two with our little.
That's a way.
Did you guys remember that? Do you even know that story?
No.
David was home from school. Dale was overseas, and I was living with Grandma and Grandpa. Well, I got up one morning, and there had been friction in the church.
Yeah.
There had been some friction in the church.
Yeah.
I got up, and there's a note on the kitchen table, going to Calvary, something like going to Calvary, talking about finances. If I'm not home by a certain time, call the police. send him to the church.
This was a note from Dad,
This was a
right?
note from Grandpa. So I take this note and David's still asleep and I go in and wake David up and say, David, what's this about? And he reads it. And between the two of us, we were really young. We're like, what, 19? And we believe it. We think it's real. So we send the police to Calvary to look for Grandpa. Todd took the church and split it in half. And the next week, it was the split of Calvary.
Well, that's all it took.
That's all it took. Was 2 Dave was the same age as I was. 2 19-year-olds not understanding that it was a joke.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Yes, Dale, your dad did enjoy telling jokes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay, Jennifer, are you remembering this story? Is she still there?
I am still here. Yeah, I've heard parts of it, bits and pieces through the years.
Oh, have you? Okay. All right. Anyway, of course, Dave and Jane got married there at Calvary, and our daughter, Danya, was the flower girl in that wedding. And where's pictures of that? I have no idea.
They may be in a closet in this house, maybe.
Yeah, in your closet somewhere, probably, yes.
Maybe.
Danya, look in your box.
So anyway, that was David and Jane. Now, I want to talk a little bit about David. Of course, well, David and Jane had a little girl named Lindsay, and that's her right there. And this is Lindsay now. Actually, this is probably a couple years old now. But Lindsay is married. She lives in Chicago, as well as Jane. Jane did. David, as you know, passed away in 1989, I believe it was, wasn't it?
Mhm.
Jane eventually remarried and moved to Chicago, and of course, and Lindsay has married and lives in the Chicago area. These are just some pictures of David growing up. This picture is David went to, the first college he went to was Washita College in Arkansas. And we thought David was going to go into the ministry. And while he was there, I believe it was his freshman year, they formed a ministerial group and traveled all summer long doing revivals at various churches. I think pretty much around over the South. I'm not really sure where all they went, but this was the revival group that
Dale?
Uh-huh.
They came to New Hampshire, I guess that summer.
Oh, did they?
Uh-huh. The church that we were at.
Oh, okay. Well, then they ventured out then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, Olivia and I got to catch up to them a time or two in their travels, and I thought David did a very good job. I thought David did a very good job in delivering, but he did not pursue that as a career. This was him and ROTC at Washita. He participated in ROTC, and David didn't finish his college education at Washita. He ended up going to Southern Illinois University in Edwardsville. We both did, as a matter of fact. David did eventually get a master's degree in psychology. So this picture here is my favorite picture of David. David, in his career, David worked mostly in social work type agencies and organizations. And eventually, David landed the executive director job for Goodwill Industries in St. Louis.
Mm-hmm.
So he was the top man for Goodwill Industries in St. Louis. So this is a picture of him when he was in that position. One quick story that I always remember him telling me about, his office was in a building, of course, where they processed donations. I mean, it was a building, you know, where they took in donations and processed donations. And of course, also had offices there. But they also had a storefront, a place where people could come in and buy clothes from Goodwill. And he'd said one day, some of his people came up to his office and said, "Oh, you got to come down and see who's down in the store. You got to come down and see." So he went down and see who was there, and it was Red Skelton.
Now, only
Oh, wow.
old
Really?
people will know who that is.
Yeah, only the old people will know who that is. But it was Red Skelton. Red was appearing there in St. Louis, and Red told David that he bought all of his clothes from Goodwill.
Oh,
So he was there shopping that day, and there's probably a picture somewhere of him
Sure.
with Red Skelton, but I don't know where that picture is. Anyway, that was a story that David always told me about his days at Goodwill. This picture here, this was pretty. These were his last days. This was a picture in his last days. He died of leukemia. He went into remission, and it lasted almost a year. We thought maybe he had conquered it, but it reared its head again and took him in 1989. So that's David. Then here's his brother Dale, and Dale's been involved in a lot of different stuff over his lifetime.
Yeah.
You know, you are Dale, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
let's introduce Dale as
Yes.
he is the third person.
We've got some stories to tell you here about this guy and of course with Olivia. But one of the things I got into, I tend to get into some hobbies from time to time. Okay. One of the hobbies I got into back in the late 70s, early 80s was bicycling. So I used to go on bicycle rides. And this was me on a long bicycle ride. Later on, I took flying lessons and got to the point where I soloed, but that was as far as I went. That was an expensive hobby, too expensive.
So was biking when you had
Yeah.
a million dollar bike.
This was me and my first car in high school, 1948 Chevy. And one of the things I wanted to do someday was have that car again. And this was as close as I got to it. This is a car that it's a 48 Chevy, but it wasn't the same model. But I had this for about 10 years and used to go to car shows and around. So I had a lot of fun with this car. I was on the board of directors with the National Automobile and Truck Museum in a nearby community here. So also I actually went away to college at a small school similar to David, but I still wanted to play basketball. I still had this desire to play basketball. And this is a story I want to tell you. This was me at this small school. Culver Stockton was the name of the school up in Missouri. And I made the basketball team. And of course, I was still in love with Olivia during this time. Still very much in love with Olivia. Why I went away to school and moved away from her, I don't really know. I just wanted to play basketball is what I wanted to do. So I went to this small school. I made the basketball team, and I can remember distinctly Thanksgiving vacation came upon us. And it was, of course, the basketball season was starting. And everybody was going home for Thanksgiving. And I always looked forward to Thanksgiving break. You know, I mean, we had 3 or 4 days off, and I was looking forward to going home to see Olivia. Well, then I found out, well, the basketball team doesn't go home. The basketball team stays and practices basketball at the school, and they even have some games. And I said, nope, I'm not going to do that. I want to get home. So I called the coach and quit the team that night.
Oh my goodness. Boy, you were special.
I was,
Yes,
and
she was.
I caught the train and headed home. So this was me at that school, my brief basketball career. I too finished up my education at Southern Illinois University. Got a master's degree in business administration. So
Salute.
yeah. So something my mom wanted her boys to do was she wanted them to go to college. Well, they both went to college. So we made her very proud. Well, I spent 2 years in the military, 66, 68. Well, actually almost 3 years in the military. This is us. I don't know again where all these pictures I've gotten, but this is where Olivia and I lived in Fort Hood, Texas, where I spent a good part of my time in the military. This is a trailer that we lived in. As a matter of fact, Danya was born at Fort Hood, Texas. And this is Olivia. I gotta zoom in
I
on
think
it.
I'm wearing his combat boots.
I think so.
Yeah. The funny thing was on this is that was our dog, Hoss. He was a German Shepherd. And he hated our landlord. He just hated him when he came around. The day I brought Danya home from the hospital, the landlord kicked us out. We should have let the dog eat him.
But again,
Whatever happened to the dog?
We had to get rid of him because Dale's mom and dad came down. And again, I never got out of being 19, but still too young, and let her talk me into that the dog was going to eat my baby. So I had to give the dog away because Grandma she just knew that dog would eat my baby. I have pictures of them, of me and Danya and the dog with his head on Danya's lap, but I was stupid and let him give him away.
But we wanted to tell you a story. This is just one of the places we lived while in the military. Another place that we lived, and where the pictures are, I do not know. But another place we lived was in Augusta, Georgia. I was sent there for training for a couple months. And like I said, it was Fort Gordon, Georgia. And Olivia went with me, and we lived in Augusta, Georgia, rented an apartment in an old house there. Now, Olivia's got a story that she wants to tell you about Augusta.
Still 19 was a big year. We're down in Georgia, and Joyce and her first husband, Ron, what was his name?
Bill Miller.
Bill Miller.
Joyce Jenkins here now we're
Joyce
talking about.
Jenkins and Bill were down there. And Joyce, I guess she helped me get a job. She was working in like a Woolworths or Kresge's or something like that. And it had a counter, a lunch counter. And mind you now, this is 65, 66? 66. So when they talk about racism, that was real racism at the time. And all the minorities lived at the bottom of the hill, and we lived at the top of the hill. And of course, the town was down at the bottom. And so Joyce got me this job in the restaurant. And my first day, I don't know anything. And so I just go wait on whoever sits down. So two black men came and sat down. And I went over and waited on them. And then two white men came and sat on the other side of the counter. And I went and waited on them. And boy, they were pissed because I had waited on those black men first. And I said, well, they came in first. We don't wait on black people first. And said, you sleep with them up north. I guess I had a northern accent to them. You sleep with them up there, don't you? And I said something smart like, we pray with them too. And I think I was about to start a riot and Joyce saved me. She was working kind of back and I was on one of the little loops in this counter. And so she came up and said, you're needed in the back. So I went to the back and Joyce took over. She could, she had this beautiful sparkling eyes and a great smile and everybody loved her. And so she saved me. And that was my last day at the restaurant. And then I went to work at Whataburger, which was a hamburger shack ran by the gypsies. And they all lived in the hill up in their trailers above on this little hill. And the hamburger joint was down below. That was an experience too, just how they lived and their culture and everything. But the other thing I did is, as I said, it was very racist back then. I mean, everything was still marked. White bathroom, black bathroom, that kind of stuff was still everywhere. And I had walked to the bus stop to go down to the job actually that I worked one day at, I think it was, or maybe a couple. And there was a black man standing there with me waiting for the bus. And this car pulls up and this man has a child in the car, but he says, white women don't stand by black men. Get in this car, I'll take you to work. I did it. I got in the car. I was so scared. I didn't know what to actually got in his car. Thank God he took me to work. And he did. He took me down to he took me to work.
Goodness.
But I was scared to death down there. No, the black people were scared and I was scared. And it was truly a frightening period of time.
Mhm.
And all the
Those were-
racism was real then. Real.
Those were dangerous times in the
It
South.
was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
Well, that's our military career. I did.
Dale, you forgot the picture up top center picture.
This one?
That one, yeah.
Do you know what that picture is about?
That car looks real familiar, but other than that, no.
Well, that's a 57 Chevy that we had at the time.
I thought.
And this was the, we were on our way from Fort Gordon, Georgia, back to Fort Hood, Texas.
Danya, I think that's where you were conceived.
And we're pretty sure this is where Danya was conceived. Not in the car, but in the motel.
Just what they want to hear. You know?
So I probably could have picked another picture for that, but
Good. That was good.
that was a good one.
So
That's
Danya,
the
you were
motel.
a Southerner. You were conceived in the South. You were born in Texas. And so you really got Southern roots, West and Texas roots.
But during my military career, I did have to go to Korea. I was lucky to go to Korea actually, and this was me getting an award while I was in Korea, and the job that I did. So,
And you know how he got there? Again, Danya has played a crucial role in our life. She's been with us. We were married exactly 1 year and 9 months when she was born, and his mother was still counting the months. You know, was it enough? Yes, 1 year and 9 months is enough, Grandma. But she, where was I going to tell him about that story? Now I lost it. But anyway, she was with us all the way from all the homes we've lived in, all the tragedies, all the ups and downs that we've had in our life. We've had Danya with us through it all.
And Danya, you're still alive.
She's still with us.
Yeah.
Okay, enough for me. Let's move on here. These are our kids. And this side's Danya. And Danya got married in, when did you get married, Danya?
1994.
1994. And she married a young man named Jeff Momquist. Jeff, we lost Jeff a few years back here. We all loved Jeff a tremendous amount. And this in Danya's wedding, I want to say these are Danya's kids. This is Zachary and Sophia. And Zachary was in the wedding. This is Zachary right here.
Oh,
And it was very, very, very touching, quite honestly. Jason held Zachary in the background behind the ceremony there, and brought him out at the right time. So it was quite
And
touching.
Jeffy, Donnie had a little ring for Zachary. And Jeffy got down on one knee, didn't he? And he actually married Danya and Zachy and gave Zachy this little ring about becoming his father and everything. And I mean, everybody cried. The whole church was crying. It was really quite beautiful.
Right. But the night before at the rehearsal dinner, at the rehearsal at the church, Zachary, who was a very strong-willed child like his mama, was hanging from the pews and rolling down the stairs in front of the preacher saying, "I don't want to be here. I don't want to do this."
And we were
And
nervous,
the
to say
preacher
the
looked at
least.
me and said, "In my experience, the worse the rehearsal, the better the wedding. So don't worry." And but as a backup plan, we had Jason hold him outside in the narthex until the right time, escort him down. They did the ring and then take him right back out. And it all came off well.
Yeah, it all went very well. But I want to say another little thing about this picture right here. This is Danya's a little girl, and this is one of Angel. Now, we could tell you a lot of stories about Danya and Angel. They were quite a pair, and Danya would get Angel in trouble all the time.
Well, they would run. You know, we said Dale's trait of running away. Well, they would run away, and we always blamed it on the dog. We'd think that she was and we had a fenced-in yard. We'd think, and if I blinked, the kid was gone. And we thought the dog was leading Donnie out. So one day, I did finally see how she was doing it. She would climb over the neighbor's yard, call the dog, then the dog would come over. Then they would go to the back of the neighbor's yard and had a wooden fence with a slat that was loose that she could move back and forth. She would move that slat, go through, call the dog, and off they'd go. I had the mailman looking for, we would have these neighborhood alerts where I'd be screaming, "She's missing again, she's missing again." The mailman would be looking for her. Everybody would be looking for her. One day, today I would be in jail for this, but one day a man comes driving up when he's in her car, or she's in his car. Yeah. And he said that he tried to get her name. She wouldn't tell him his name, but she would tell him that her dad worked at the local A&P. So they called the A&P, and all they had to do was say, "We found this little girl with big brown eyes." Oh, we know exactly who she is. And they told her where we lived, and then he brought her home to me. But
oh my goodness.
I think I whipped her, which, we don't do anymore. but I believe I whipped her little ass all the way into the house. And then we got rid of the dog.
So anyway, we got to keep moving on.
Okay.
This is our son Jason, who's on the call tonight. Of course, Jason was in the Marines, and very proud of him and his service. This is his wife, Michelle, and their family. They've got 5 kids, 5 children, and Toby, their dog. And this is Donya's dog, Boomer, here.
Mhm. Now I
So-
have to finish the runaway stories. Now Jason was also a runaway, same age, only he was like an escape artist. He could open everything, and he would, no matter how many locks we put on the door, he could figure out how to get out. He would stack things up and get up to the highest chain lock and get those doors open. And you'd be laying in bed and all of a sudden you'd hear that front door close, slam shut. Now Jason had a special way of running away. He'd be naked. He was always naked. He'd take all his clothes off, run out the front door and hop on his pink bunny, and down the street they'd go. One day we got a call from our next door neighbor early in the morning. We didn't know he had escaped yet. And she said, your son, your naked son, is standing in our bedroom beside our bed. So he actually broke into the neighbor's house and was standing staring at him in their bedroom. So we had, and that happened frequently. Him
How
running
many
away.
years was that?
Huh?
How many years did he do that?
Oh, it was his second year.
Well, you know, I always think it's funny that the neighbors these days, they really take strangely to it now.
So are you
You
still
know,
doing
they give me the
that?
oddest
You're
looks,
still
but,
doing
Still doing it.
you know?
Yeah, it doesn't go over very well.
Nah, I mean,
He
I
did
don't
love
know
to be
why,
naked.
but
And then
Yeah.
the neighbors would tease us if we were going out somewhere and Jason was dressed. They'd say, who's that? We didn't recognize him with clothes on, you know.
All right, let's move on here.
Oh,
These are just some family pictures. We won't go through them individually, but just some family pictures that I seem to still have. So one thing I just did want to say, Mom and Dad were very big on going on vacations. So as we were growing up, we always every summer could look forward to some sort of vacation. I know we went to Canada. We went out to Colorado. So we even went to Washington, D.C. I remember and we would camp. And I can remember camping in Washington, D.C., and we could see the Washington Monument from the campground that we were camped at. So we had some great vacations as growing up. And this is, of course, retirements. Mom and their 50th wedding anniversary. Mom worked most of her career for the Alton school system. She worked in the cafeterias. And as a matter of fact, Mom worked in a grade school cafeteria where David and I went to grade school, and then worked at the junior high school cafeteria where David and I went to junior high. So she got to see us just about every day going through grade school and junior high school.
Dale, did you go to Milton Elementary?
Yes, Milton School. Yes. Yeah. And then Dad retired, I believe it was in 1982, and this was Dad's retirement. And of course, he loved to get up and talk, you know. So they had to give him some time to talk. This is both of them down in Texas after they retired. They spent some winters down in Texas, and they had 3-wheelers down there where they rode around. So that was where they were after their retirement. This is the next generation. This is Danya's son, Zachary, and his wife, and their first dog, Bailey. And this is Bailey and their second dog, Franny. But we've got a great grandchild, our first great grandchild, Milo. This is Milo here. And we've got a second great grandchild on his way, and his name is Louis. His name's going to be Louis. So Louis is due, I think, in July.
Yeah,
Yeah.
first part of July.
So this is the next generation coming up.
That's wonderful.
I have 2 months to accept this name.
Yeah.
I love it.
I love it. I love
love
it. But anyway,
Well, it'll grow on you. It'll
know.
just hit you. It'll
Danya,
hit
like
ya.
it.
This is Boomer, Danya's dog Boomer.
yeah, this is some current life. This is
This is
the
our house.
last slide. This is our house right now. Livia's mother lives with us, Bessie.
Oh,
A few weeks ago, she fell here and broke her hip. And she 94 years old, and she went through surgery on
golly.
her hip, and she's in a nursing home here locally in rehab right now. And these are Jason's kids taking their dog Toby to see her while she's in rehab. Prior to her mother falling, Olivia fell.
Show my arm.
Yeah.
That's my arm.
And broke her wrist. And
Can
so
you see how crooked it is hanging there? Yeah.
that's her in the emergency room. Isn't that a great picture? Yeah. And then this is Sophia. This is Danya's daughter, Sophia. This is me
Oh, okay.
dressed up, and Boomer. So
Now you got to talk about Dale dresses all up, and he posts pictures on these websites of men who get dressed up, and he gets lots of compliments. Mind you, now Sophie got him into thrifting,
Yeah.
Salvation Army, Goodwill, all these kind of stores. He has bought a beautiful wardrobe. He's collected a beautiful wardrobe over the last year. Have you been doing this?
yeah.
Yeah. And it's all from Salvation Army, Goodwill. And he posts on these classic men's sites. They don't, classic dress, what's it called?
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's a couple of them.
But, and anyway, he gets tons of compliments. Nobody knows he's dressing right out of Goodwill and the Salvation Army.
So, yep, it's a good, enjoy
And
doing
him
it.
and Sophie still go thrifting once or twice a month.
Yeah.
So she got him started in it.
Okay, folks, that is it. And let me stop
And
sharing.
I live right next door to you.
And Danya
Danya lives right next door to us, and
which we love.
Jason lives not too far from us. We're very blessed in that we have the whole family right here in
Yeah.
Fort Wayne.
And
Yes, you
our dogs
are.
we've always had dogs, and we love our dogs like we love our kids. And like Boomer and Franny and Bailey and now Toby, they're all special. And we're the dog on the furniture, dog at the table, dog in your bed people.
Did everybody get a chance to watch the video of my interview with Grandpa Truman with
Oh,
Truman?
I don't know. Do they know about that, Dale?
No, I don't.
They should know. That video of Jason interviewing Dad, going through the old pictures.
Yeah, we watched it. It was good.
Okay, all right.
Good,
everybody got to see
good.
that. Okay.
Thanks.
Well, I'll do the same thing with the recording of this one. So,
Did you get the DVD I sent you?
Oh, we thought Rayford sent us that.
Well, they gave it to me to mail to you.
yes,
okay.
we did.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
sent him a thank you
I
card.
was gonna say,
No,
oh, no.
hey, no, he's one he has been going through all the musicals through the years, and he has been making up DVDs, CDs for hundreds of people. He's 82 years old, has pulmonary fibrosis. They still get out and mow all the land around where they live on all
Really?
the roads out on Delhi Road. They do this. I mean, they work together. Someone brought them big boxes of school football games or something, and they have to go. These are from the tapes, and they have to go through all these, and she has to help him with it. And then they put them. He's got machines how he puts them on DVDs, and I mean, he just bought this last year. He bought him a new electric piano.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
I mean, he's still. You wouldn't think of him being 82 years old, you know.
Well, good
I
for
mean,
him.
they are still very, very active people. He
Good.
plays for a couple of churches on Sunday morning. He may go to 2 or 3 different churches on Sunday morning. And
Wow.
I've had to go get him and take him to the next one because Martha would go on ahead and maybe play a few songs and then get him there in time for the congregation to sing. I mean, they're something else. They are
Wow.
something else.
Wow.
So
Okay.
pray for him though, because he's in a program. I mean, you know, they can't cure pulmonary fibrosis, but they're trying to extend his life. He's had it a long time. My mother had it a long time too, but you don't
Okay.
know you have it until you've had it got it real bad, and then they find out. You go in and check, and you've had it 6-10 years, you know. So,
All right.
but he's still
Okay.
going at it.
Okay.
Thanks,
Now our,
thanks, Dale.
huh?
You did. Thanks. You
That
did.
was
I think you did a
good.
really good job.
Well,
Thanks.
thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you.
very good.
It takes some time to put this stuff together, you know?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, right, Jimmy.
It's not,
Jimmy did it too.
yeah.
Yeah, Jimmy knows.
It's
Yeah.
it's a bit of a task, and
It's fun. It's definitely fun seeing all the different family though.
Oh, it is.
Sure.
It is.
Yep.
yeah, and our kids just they were involved from the very start and just, you know, devoted a great deal of time
Uh-huh.
to help me out with this. Yes,
Right.
Yes.
sirree.
Let me just say that when my dad does something, it's not off the cuff.
Right.
A rehearsal night.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Right.
I have been
Yes.
told, you're very lucky I didn't come in my duck pajamas because I was going to, but I was told that I needed to look awake and
Right.
like I was tired. So
Right.
I've got extra lighting set up here.
Yeah.
And smile
It's
like
the-
you want to be here.
Yeah. That's why we didn't have much to say, because this is the second time we've heard this
Yeah.
whole presentation.
Well, you know, you got to rehearse this type of thing. You know, you can't just
Well,
all
Danya,
about
I expected to see a cup of coffee in your hand.
Yeah. And you guys,
There
There
you
you go. There you go.
Ronnie, you guys up there are in theater. You know about rehearsal,
Oh,
doing
well,
things like that.
I've got a rehearsal tomorrow night.
Do
Really,
you?
really.
We're doing a performance on Zoom
Oh, you are.
okay.
Wednesday.
Good.
On Wednesday, we're doing one,
Yeah.
and I'm directing the show. And so, yeah, it's some work.
Yeah.
Herding cats is real similar.
Yeah.
Hey, Janet,
Uh-huh.
I got to get a hold of you. I'll be coming through your town the week before Memorial Day weekend.
Okay, good.
And I'll let you know. We'll be going to Gatlinburg, but we'll probably swing by to say, hey, either on the way down or on the way back, one or the other.
Okay,
Okay.
that's good.
I'll get you nice. Let Michael know.
Okay, I will.
Well,
Thanks.
Janet, I might as well also tell you, I just found out I'm going to be attending a meeting in Nashville in August.
In August, wow.
So, you know,
Could we
so I
get
could
together?
probably come to your house for meals every day then, couldn't I?
I'll fix you a pie. What
Sounds
kind-
like David.
Yeah.
Or Jennifer, maybe she could I eat at your place, Jennifer? Or
Well, still live with mom and dad.
oh, you
so-
still live with them? Oh.
Well, then it works out great.
Yeah. She can
Yeah, we'll
help.
take turns cooking.
Hi, Helen. How are you, Helen?
Dale said, how are you?
Oh, I'm fine.
Yeah, you're looking good. You look good.
He said, you look good.
Thank you.
She was in the hospital about a month ago and
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like- yeah, but she's, been getting therapy in the nurses at the house, but
Good.
Oh.
Good.
kind of slowed her down a little bit for a while anyway.
All right.
So,
Okay. Well, okay, guys. Well, enjoyed it. I'm glad you all
Me
enjoyed
too.
the
For sure.
presentation. And like I said, as far as I know, Carl Foster will be doing the one on June 27th. I don't know who's going to go after that. Do we know? Who do you think y'all might be
You,
want to?
Janet, you want to do Uncle Bill?
good. I don't know. I was just thinking while we were talking about how much work it is. And I thought
She's a busy person.
I'll get some help.
Well,
Josh.
Jennifer will help you, right, Jennifer?
I will help. And I've got summer coming up, so I'll have so much free time.
Oh yeah, right. While you're working full time and doing all the other stuff. Well, maybe we can start tomorrow.
Well, you got till August, right?
Well,
Yeah.
we,
So-
go ahead, Janet, I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I'll try not to be a procrastinator.
Sorry.
No, we talked about how we better start telling our own stories because the dead people they're gone. And we're kind of done with their stories anyway. And we don't even know each other. And we don't know our own stories. I don't know your stories. Janet, I don't know your story. I certainly don't know your brother's story. I don't know how Jimmy got up there. I don't know how you got to Grand Rapids. I don't really know your story. We talk about the old people, but we don't talk about ourselves. And now we're dying.
Is
And
that?
Debbie, and with Tommy's death, it reminded me, we don't know each other and we talk about these dead people all the time. And now we're joining them. We better start talking about our stories or nobody's going to have anything. Nobody's going to remember us at all.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So don't dwell on the past too much. Just get to your story.
Right.
All right. Well, on that note, I think we'll wrap it up. Anybody got anything else they want to say? Anything, announcements or anything?
No babies being born yet?
Jimmy, you've been awful quiet this evening. That's kind of odd, isn't it? No.
I said hi.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
See, we had a rehearsal last night and he had to play the butler.
Oh.
Oh,
What is the play about? What's the name of the play?
It's the name of the play is Clue,
Oh,
yeah.
like the board game.
oh,
Yeah.
really? Oh, really?
And so it's a murder mystery and, Colonel Mustard in the library with the wrench and
Well,
yeah.
can we see this? Is it on YouTube or something?
Well, we're gonna one of our cast members, her father is got a few months to live, so we're not performing until March of 2022.
Oh,
And so we're gonna record it because it's gonna be a Zoom performance.
yeah.
So we're gonna record it for him, but I'll have a copy of that.
Oh, I'd love to see it.
Yeah.
Now
think
Jimmy's in it. Is any other family members in it?
I was filling in.
Yeah, he was filling in.
And
Now,
you're
we-
behind the scenes? And you're producing, did you say, Ronnie?
Directing, yeah.
You're directing? Cool, I'll watch it. I
Now,
love it.
Jim have you guys ever seen Escanaba into Moonlight?
They don't know that play. That's down south.
Well, it was a movie, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Jeff Daniels.
Jim was in that.
Really?
Oh.
It was
Well, now,
very
how-
funny.
How about, is your, can't think of her name, your daughter, Ben and
Hannah.
Hannah.
are they in it?
They no, they've been in theater, Hannah and Alec and Ben. When we did Mary Poppins,
Mary
Uh,
Poppins is the only one that all of us
I-
were in the play.
Yeah, I was in it.
Everybody was in there.
I was in it, Alec was in it, Hannah was in it, Ben was in it, Ron directed, and Jim was on the fly team that flew Mary Poppins and
Because
stuff.
we had Mary Poppins flying around the stage.
Really,
Wow.
really.
Alec's been in a lot of theater, and Hannah's been in some, not as much as Alec, but Hannah usually plays in the orchestra pit.
Oh,
But
So
Ben critiqued everybody's English accent for Mary Poppins because I insisted everybody have an accent. And Ben was like, oh.
because he's a Brit.
He's a Brit. He grew up in England, so.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
well, that's Anna's husband,
Yeah,
right?
that's him.
He was our
I
dialect.
now
Yeah,
I'm- yeah.
he was our dialect coach.
Oh,
All right, guys.
Mhm.
Well, thanks for joining in
Okay.
tonight. I know we went a little over, well, we quite a bit over, hour and a half, so that's
Well,
good.
it was
though.
good, very
It
good.
was
Yeah,
good.
but-
It was good.
Good job.
So all have a good time, have a good day. Enjoy this spring weather. Hopefully we'll get some spring weather here pretty soon.
Yeah, be nice.
You can get into
80,
summer.
80 tomorrow,
Yeah.
80 tomorrow. and the next day.
So we'll be looking, unless we change it, but it'll be June 27th.
And
So
Carl Robert.
call Robert.
Okay.
Okay.
Rita, have you settled on a date yet in the summer?
The boys were thinking after, we'll see how after the 4th of July goes, how things are going. So I'm kind of thinking maybe the 1st to the last of August, we'll have Tom's Celebration live.
Okay.
I just don't know how many people will come. The boys think there's gonna be a lot. I just don't know. I know that some of the older people that he cared about so much and did so much for, they will want to come if the COVID is not, if that has calmed down. I think there'll be several people to come out for it.
Try
Yeah,
to make it the first part of August. Because I have to go to Nashville at the end of August.
Oh, well, you could drive through here
On your way.
on your way back. What
On the
day,
way.
now, what day is your meeting on?
It really doesn't matter as long as the Cardinals are playing at home. That's the whole thing.
Oh, okay.
August,
Now you
Hold
August,
on, Dale, I'll let you know in a second here.
I
August-
tell you
August
what, you all send me your dates. Y'all send me your dates, and then we'll plan it around that.
All right,
Okay.
all right, all right.
Okay.
I don't know if we're on a peace stop for you, Jimmy or Ronnie, when you're going down to Lebanon to meet the family, but you're welcome to stop here and
Cheers.
And
make a peace stop.
well, we're welcome to pee. Thanks. Thanks.
We got no bedrooms. They're full of old people,
But your bathroom's open.
but the bathroom is open.
I'll be there.
All right.
Okay, Rita, we're good. First week,
Yeah.
third week, most of the fourth week, any of those dates work.
Not the fourth week, not the fourth
All
week.
right.
Yep,
Good
that's,
night.
it's first week, third week. Cardinals are home.
All right. Bye, everybody.
See y'all.
Love y'all. Love you.
Love ya.
Love you.